What's going on, everybody? My LLs, my Labari listeners, my fellow real estate enthusiasts, and fellow real estate investors. Welcome back to the Lubari Real Estate Podcast, where we don't just talk about deals, we talk about discipline, mindset, and building a life that most people can only dream about. And today, we're getting into something powerful. We're talking about how to buy real estate without relying on traditional banks, without begging lenders, and without waiting for permission. We're talking about the Morby Method, popularized by Pace Morby himself. But we're not just breaking down strategy today. We're also talking about resurrection because last weekend was Easter. Easter just passed. And whether you're religious or not, the message is still clear. Things can die and still come back stronger. And that applies to your deals, your finances, your mindset, and your life. And in this case, especially Jesus Christ. So, what is the Morby Method? Let's dive in. All right, so the Morby Method is centered around one thing, and that is creative finance. Instead of going to a bank and asking, can I qualify? You flip the script and say, how can I structure this deal so that I don't need you at all? And there are three main pillars. Number one is seller financing. And that's when you go directly to the seller and say something like, instead of cashing out, what if you would come to bank? So you would agree on a purchase price, agree on the terms, interest rate, and payment schedule, and you make payments directly to the seller. And you cut out the bank, and there's no approval process, and there's no delays. All right, number two is subject to. This is where you acquire a property, all right? Subject to the existing mortgage staying in place. So you don't get a new loan. You take control of the property and you continue making payments on the seller's existing mortgage. It's powerful, it's fast, and it's efficient. And then number three, wraps and hybrid structures. This is where you start stacking your strategies. All right. So in this strategy, the seller would likely carry a second position. All right. And then you wrap financing around an existing loan, and then you create spreads between what you pay versus what you earn. And this is where deals become more of an art form. And why is this so powerful? Well, it's powerful because most people are stuck because they think I need money to make money. Wrong. You need creativity, confidence, and communication. The Morby Method allows you to control your assets without massive capital, move fast in competitive markets, solve seller problems instead of just making offers, and build relationships instead of just transactions. And here's where it gets a little deeper. And I say this all the time. This is a people business, not just a property or a location business. You're not just buying real estate here. What you're doing is you're solving distress, you're solving timing issues, you're solving emotional decisions and financial pressure. And when you solve real problems, that is when you get paid. Okay? So here's the real game. All right? It's all about mindset. Now let's go deeper, because strategy without mindset is just useless. You can know every creative finance structure in the world, but if you hesitate, if you doubt yourself, if you shrink in conversations, then you will lose. And the Morby Method requires boldness, clarity, and presence. You have to sit across from someone and confidently say, I can solve your problem, and mean it. Okay? So with that being said, I got a little Easter message for you. Now, let's talk about timing, because this episode dropped around Easter it's not random. I don't do things just to do them. What kind of guy do you think I am? Yeah, I remember digging my feet in Eddie's couch. Why? Because he could buy another one. If you know, you know. But anyway, Easter represents resurrection. Something that looked finished, something that looked defeated, something that looked buried, got back up. And I need you to hear this clearly. If your deal fell apart, if your last opportunity didn't close, if you've ever doubted, overlooked, counted, or been counted out, or counted out something, that does not mean it's over. It means you're being built, because pressure doesn't break you. It reveals who you are. All right? And let me tell you something. Get your mind right. If your mind is right, if your spirit is right, if your body is right, then you cannot be broken. Now let's lock that in, because there's a difference between people who quit and people who win. And that has nothing to do with intelligence or luck or even opportunity. It's this: the refusal to stay down. You cannot be broken unless you decide to stay broken. All right? Now let me say that again. You cannot be broken unless you decide to stay broken. Because life is going to hit you. Deals will fall through, people will doubt you, money will get tight, but every single time, you have two choices. You either stay down or you get up. And the ones who keep getting up, they become unstoppable. And in one of the newest Tyler Perry movies about, like the college road trip and stuff, Joe said a quote that really hit me. And I'll never forget it. I even wrote it down on my mirror. When you get tired of fighting, get up and fight some more. So here's your takeaway. The Morby Method is not just about creative finance. It's about creative thinking. It's about owning your power. It's about operating without limitations. And more importantly, it's about becoming the type of person who finds a way, figures it out, and finishes what they start. Because at the end of the day going in, and you're not waiting on opportunity. Opportunity is waiting on you to become ready. All right, so here's one final quote here. You don't lose when things fall apart. You lose when you decide not to rebuild. If this episode hits you, share it with someone who needs that reminder. You can't be broken. Don't let the world break you. Choose to get up and keep fighting. You fall 7 times, but you get up 8. Don't ever let them break you. You're strong, and you got this. And I believe in you, and I need you to believe in yourself too. That being said, stay disciplined, stay dangerous, and stay building. Now let's go get it. Let's go to work. I love you all, and be blessed.